have a big portfolio calculator update as we go into the end of the year. We are in our final day of trading. These are the results. I've sprinted through the last few weeks doing a lot of research, and I'll be publishing more in the new year. This is the portfolio calculator. You can find it at the Market Portfolio's portfolio calculator. You can download this Excel file right here and go over what I'm about to go over in this video. I want to first go over what we were trading, the new strategies, and the new portfolios. And so we were trading the Stock Index Portfolio 18 BLITZ and then 16 BLITZ, and then we said the 16 without the BLITZ was the update. So we've slowly scaled back. We were trading this, and you can see it's at equity peaks, but not after a spike down. We saw this spike down and then a rally back in the equity, and we paused trading. And so the last week, these portfolios have done really well. We transitioned to a portfolio like this on December the 5th. It also spiked down and then rallied back. And you can see the gains that have been made in this portfolio recently. The last week or so, the gains are, since this time period, up about 50K in the gains in this week after spiking down and then coming back. And so that is what we are looking at. Let's look at the Stock Index Portfolio 16. Scales back further to just 16 strategies. And you can see here. So we paused trading on the Stock Index Portfolio 16 plus 5 BLITZ. And we said we recommend this. And we still do. This is a good portfolio. Mainly trading market internals. Less strategies than we normally trade. And this is where it is at. The drawdown curve is held up. And it also had a big bounce back at the end of the month. You can see here it's also up about 34K in the past week. And so big gains here. We paused trading on December the 13th after the big spike down. And we wanted to lock in gains on the quarter. Let's look at the brand new portfolios and the new strategies. So I have a Stock Index Portfolio 18, mainly market internal strategies, and I want to show you the changes that were made. So the Stock Index Portfolio 16 MIT continue to be traded. I did make these changes. I'm adding on the ES, Mirror 2020 ES, and Tick Count Trend 2, and I'm removing AT 2020, or I'm adding AT 2020 NQ. These are the NQ strategies that we're adding. AT 2020 EVP1 with a $700 stop loss, long only, outstanding results, long only, $700 stop loss. And you can see historically we've used it $1,000 stop loss, $2,000 trailing, and long and shorts. But just long only with the $700 stop loss and no trailing, really good results. I'll make another video for that. We've made a video yesterday about Viper. We've changed Viper. We're adding this. We're removing Viper 2021. We have a diverse set of this diversity because we have Viper 2021 has a higher percentage of winners, and so it's a little different and takes advantage of a noisy market, capturing a profit target quickly while leaving the stop loss larger and the profit target tighter. We can be profitable in a noisy environment with a high percentage of winners. And then momentum reversal in Q, as well as momentum reversal ES. I've added that as well. I need to add that to this list. So I've added that up here. We are basically adding 7 strategies and removing 5. AT 2021 ES. This hasn't traded since October of 2021. It had a range filter on it. And so we've, in essence, added AT 2020 NQ in replace of removing this. Viper, we've removed this, and we've basically added Viper 2021 with the 1200 stop loss, 600 profit target. Tick Wave, that we've removed. We have Tick Wave ES still. Robot NQ, we're removing that. Has a tight stop loss, $400 stop loss, so a little bit too tight for this market environment, and so we've removed that. So let's look at the results on these strategy updates. I've added a long list of strategies to about 28 strategies to the portfolio calculator. And you can see I like this 6892 versus what we've added on Stock Index Portfolio 16. This is 5011. The worst case drawdown is 11,650, and with this we have 68.92 with the worst case drawdown, 12,625. Not much larger of a worst case drawdown, or of a largest losing day, and the maximum drawdown is smaller, so 22 instead of 26. And you can see the results for the past year. The last losing month was May of 2020, and the only losing month since January of 2020. Here's a drawdown curve, very consistent, and we look at this on the micros as well. You can see it on the micros. 1/10 of the results on the micros is what we've traditionally calculated. We're getting much worse results on micros though, so you might want to use 1/20th of the results. Instead of 55,000 on the year, you might see 27,000, and you might see a $4,000 drawdown with a $27,000 gain on a year like this, which is still pretty good considering the account size required. I've also added market value traded to this portfolio. You could see how much leverage you're using if you were trading a net position in all strategies. For example, all 18 strategies at the current prices is about $3.7 million. And so you could trade this. The margin, this is the minimum margin requirement. This is based on the drawdown plus minimum account size requirement. It's based on max drawdown plus a net position in all strategies at the current overnight margin rate. And so since not all strategies ever take a net position, and you also have the ability to use day trade margin, you can trade it with a smaller account than what you see here. But you should consider the volatility in your account, the psychology behind the volatility. The largest losing day is around this amount, so you're going to see 6 or 7%. If you have a $200,000 account, that's a 6.3% move in your account, and you have to consider that the market value you're trading is much higher, and the smaller your account size is. You could trade this with a smaller account, but the volatility as a percentage is higher, and it does affect your trading psychology and your ability to stay with a strategy and see the forest for the trees sometimes when you use too much leverage. So you have to consider that trading psychology factor. Now we also have the SR counter trend portfolio we've added, along with some additional SR counter trend strategies. This is a strategy that could be traded with about 75K. It's kind of a boring strategy. It might take 4 trades per week, and I talk about this on my website. You can see this. I'm going to show you where you can find this portfolio set up. You go to capstoneTradingSystems.com. You can go to SR Counter Trend Portfolio, and you can see the setup here for the conservative SR Counter Trend 2 conservative portfolio, and you can see the multi-charts back test, and now I'm showing you the back test. It's basically 2 strategies on 7 different markets. It includes coffee, crude oil, natural gas, silver, gold, S&Ps, and NASDAQ. And you can see that in this list here. I've added a lot of strategies, so you can see that. I'll go over all the strategies after I go over all the portfolios. And so let's look at, I've also updated the margins, so you can see all the margins requirements have been updated, so it can show you for all the new strategies as well. What happens when you combine Stock Index Portfolio E-mini and the stock in the SRCT conservative portfolio that we just went over? So I have that listed here. SR Counter Trend, Stock Index Portfolio E-mini plus SR Counter Trend conservative. You see this number jump to 78.25, and you see the largest losing day drop. And so that's what I like. Drawdown is 22,267.50. Let's look at the Stock Index Portfolio 18, 22,487.50. Largest losing day is 12,625. This number is 68.25. And here is the drawdown curve. Now let's take a look at this with the SR Counter Trend. If you add this portfolio right here to the Stock Index Portfolio, I'm going to make a separate video for this because this really stands out. And so Stock Index Portfolio 18 plus SR Counter Trend 2 conservative. This number does not go up. This number actually drops by $500. This number jumps by about 1,000. And so you can see very consistent drawdown curve. You go from 18 strategies to 32 strategies without increasing your drawdown. You have multi-market diversity, and you're adding this portfolio right here, the SR Counter Trend 2 conservative portfolio that doesn't trade much. You're not going to get a lot more trades. About 4 trades a week in this portfolio, about 200 trades per year in this portfolio, and this portfolio can actually go a month, as long as a month, without taking a trade. And so it's very low frequency, and when you add that to the Stock Index Portfolio 18, you smooth out the equity curve a little bit, and you can see the equity curve in the Stock Index Portfolio, how it's less frequent. You can just tell by looking at the equity curve, just longer, flatter periods, very cyclical drawdown curve, very boring portfolio, but it could be traded if you traded this with 75K, pretty consistent returns that beat the market, and just a lazy, slow portfolio, I guess you could say. You actively trade the commodities with this, and you can see, if you trade this with 75K, let's go back to that. 75K, you get 16K over 75K is about a 21% return. And so this says account size required 158K. I am using overnight margins, even though all of these are day trade strategies. So you would need much less capital than shown here. Your market value traded if all strategies took a net position at the current price is about 1.8 million. So keep that in mind. You are managing it and exiting it by the end of the day. And so 14 strategies based on 2 different systems on 7 different markets using the exact same parameters. So what happens, final portfolio, and then we'll go over the new strategies. All strategy access is, this is if you trade all the strategies. So there's some redundancy here. And this would be more of a $5 to $10 million portfolio, doubling the account size required based on the largest losing day of $62,000, largest winning day $181,000. You're trading $32 million, and so 1/3 of that is $10 million, 1/6 of that is $5 million. Most of it is day trade. The margin requirement is $2.28 million. The drawdown is $200,000. And so if you have a $5 million portfolio, $200,000 drawdown is about 4%, and you would be up on a year like this about 34%, 32%, 38%, 10% on that year, 24%, and about 7% there. And the volatility is expanding in these markets, and you can see that in the drawdown curve. So you have to be willing to. This takes a lot of capital. This is more of a 5 to 10 million, or potentially a $2.5 million portfolio. But there is some redundancies in some of these strategies, so some of the strategies could be removed. But you're talking about 188, automating 188 strategies. So let's go over the new strategies that have been added. There's about 28 new strategies that have been added. I've added the conservative and aggressive version of SR Counter Trend, and I talk more about that on the SR Counter Trend page. I've added AT 2021 no range filter and no range filter for the short only, because this didn't trade. These two didn't trade for about a year because of the range filter, so I've removed the range filter on these. I thought I might implement them in the new portfolio, but I didn't. But I've added them anyway. And let me look here and look at what are the tick reversal. This is an NQ strategy I've added to the ES. Thought I might add those to the portfolio. I did not at this time. Let's see, what else have I added. That is it on the ES, I believe. And so I'm going to continue to scroll through here. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 strategies added on the S&P. Let's look at the NASDAQ now. I have added I've added SR Counter Trend 2, V2 1M conservative and aggressive Those are two strategies that I've added. I added Tick Pulse with 2022 with $1,000 stop loss. I'm staying with the $600 stop loss. I've done a lot of research, a lot of additions, and so sometimes you can do a lot of work and your conclusion is to stay with a lot of what you've been doing. I've added this. This is incredible results to see the long only version of this with the $700 stop loss. I'm going to show you that in another video. And so that is EVP1. Let's take a look here. I've added Viper 2021 with the $1,200 stop loss, $600 profit target. And let's see, I've added, that is all 5 on the NASDAQ that I've added. It's 11 strategies I've added total. Now I've added SR Counter Trend 2 V21M. I've added SR Counter Trend 2 V21M Conservative and SR Counter Trend 2 V2M1M Aggressive. So 3 on gold, 3 strategies on gold I've added. Silver, same 3 strategies. These 3 strategies on silver. And I've added crude oil, same 3 strategies. These 3 right here have been added. And natural gas, I've added those 3 strategies. The aggressive version is not that good. I was looking for an SR counter trend with all the same parameters, and I wanted the aggressive version to have the same number of trades as the SR counter trend 2 V21M version. So I've created an aggressive version to create the same number of trades. It's not a strategy that I've added to the portfolio right now. So coffee, all 4 of these are new, and so 4 on coffee. And so that is a total, I'm showing a total of 27 strategies. I thought there was another one in there. Let me take a quick look. So 27 strategies total have been added, and these are what I have later. And what I have in the latest portfolio calculator update, it's a very extensive update, very time consuming. I've also researched portfolio level stop losses. I'm not done with that yet. As you go into the new year, it's very advanced, very time. Takes a lot of effort to develop that. I've put the structure together, and I'll have more on that. I have a lot of information on my research that I will publish in more detail in the new year. But this is what we have for the portfolio calculator, and we will be updating the workspaces. I don't have the workspaces completed yet. I've just put these in the portfolio calculator, so I will be putting the workspaces together to trade this, and I will wait for a drawdown to start trading it. I'm not going to jump in. January's and the beginning of the, and also the beginning of the year and the beginning of the months have been choppier than normal. It's possible the beginning of the months could be extremely smooth and trendy, but our experience lately with the beginning of some months after a end of month being very strong is a very choppy beginning to the new month. And so we've had a very smooth end of December as far as these strategies are concerned, even though we paused trading. And so I would anticipate a very choppy January as we come into the new year. So this is the updated portfolio calculator, very long and detailed video. Done a lot of research and I wanted to fill you in. And so once again, more details on all this and separate videos, as well as if you're a subscriber, you will be receiving the updated workspaces for these portfolios depending on your subscription. Hey, David Bean here. Welcome to Capstone Trading Systems YouTube page. Be sure to subscribe to join our community of algorithmic traders. We are real money traders. We share our winning streaks, we share our losing streaks, as well as market updates, strategies, and coding tips.